Hi, everyone. I'm Emilie Vesselin, Senior Content Editor for Jewelers Mutual. Welcome to the Zing Zoom series. Today, I talked to Emilie Shapiro, Queens, New York-based designer and educator for the industry. I love the conversation that we had, and I hope you enjoy it too. So we will be right back with Emilie, double Emily's.
Everywhere we look, our world is changing faster than ever. But the change was always coming. While disruption is never easy, legacy is born from challenge, and hope flows from the connection with our customers, the strength of our communities, and the love of our family and friends. Jewelry is the thing that brings us all together, marking our milestones, lifting our hearts, and reminding us why we do this. 'Cause it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that zing.
That's why Jewelers Mutual launched the Zing platform, the easy-to-use, one-stop shop to navigate our changing industry. With fast and free access to best-in-breed services, solutions, industry tools, and information, the Zing platform is an all-in-one platform to connect, explore, and discover. For everyone in our industry, it's the jewelry marketplace for today and tomorrow.
And the Zing platform offers something for everyone. Transparent access to a world-class diamond marketplace. A simple step-by-step appraisal engine tapping GemWorld's deep expertise, as well as a place to find fast, secure, and cost-effective shipping solutions. What's more, it makes completing everyday tasks easy.
When the world zags, we zing. At Jewelers Mutual, we've been doing this for over 100 years, and we're just getting started. Harness the power of the industry and unlock your potential. All you gotta do is zing.
Hi, welcome to Zing
Hi.
Zoom. How are you, Emilie?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. For those who don't know, my name is Emilie Vesselin. I'm the Senior Content Editor at Jewelers Mutual and the Zing Report. And I'm so happy to be here with one of my favorite designers, Emilie Shapiro, who is in her Queens studio today. And thank you for being here, Emilie.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
It is the attack of the Emilies today, which I
love.
I love other Emilies.
Yes.
I was so keen to talk to you because you are an independent designer, love your work, and many other people do too. But you also inhabit kind of an interesting space in the industry. Can you tell me a little bit about all the different things you do?
Sure. So like you mentioned, I'm a jewelry designer. I have two different lines. I have a contemporary line, which is brass and rough cut gemstones, and also a fine line, which is 14 karat golds. Everything is handmade from start to finish in my studio here in Queens, New York City. And I sell mostly wholesale and also retail direct from my website. Obviously, a lot of that has changed in the last few years. And another side of what I do is I'm also an educator. I've written 2 books on jewelry design, how to create your own jewelry line, and creative wax carving, which is all about wax carving. And I also do online classes.
Fantastic. And we've talked about this before, but during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, was trapped at home like so many people with my little kids. And we had, my son is very much like a maker and loves to, paint and do things, sort of tactile things. And you had posted a, quick class on wax carving for a ring. And it was $10. And it was just this email that was sent from heaven from you, because it ended up being one of the most memorable and fun things that I did with my kids during the initial lockdown.
I love that.
So crazy. And I wonder,
I love that.
Awesome. And I just thank you so much. And I also wonder what your feelings are. I know I've read one of your books. I know that you're a passionate educator. How did you become interested in teaching the industry and people even outside the industry, how the ins and outs of jewelry and jewelry making?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd say, well, I think education is a little bit in my blood. My mom's a kindergarten teacher, and I've kind of always loved just teaching people. I TA'd in college. and things like that. But after I graduated, I went to Syracuse University for jewelry and metalsmithing and also studied business. And I worked at Pamela Love. I interned there, eventually became the production manager. And, kind of while I was finding my footing after college, I was really interested in education, but I didn't know how to figure it out. So I started assisting at this really sweet little gallery and school in Williamsburg in Brooklyn called Lilo Vive. And I started assisting teaching and eventually teaching there. And then I was the program director of the school there. It was this really great little program. And I loved sharing craft with people. I loved seeing people who would come at 6 o'clock after their workday, sitting behind a computer and just learning how to solder or learning a new skill and seeing this explode in their brain. There's just nothing like igniting that in someone. And so that's really how I started. I taught a lot, but eventually as my brand was taking off, I taught less and less. And I know, I have 2 children now. And once I had kids, it really became hard to split my time with kids and work. And so the teaching really took a
little
back
kids
burner.
too, right? How old are your
I
kids right now?
do. They're 1 and 4. So I have my hands full.
Yes, you do. Definitely.
Yeah.
But
It's fun.
it's so fun. It's the greatest time and the most labor intense time for sure.
Yeah, that's a way to put it.
But now you have an online portal. Do I have that correct for education?
Sort of. So essentially I'll tell you how it started. So
Okay.
like you said, I always was interested in teaching online classes. People would ask me since I was doing it local in New York City. And it was kind of always something I wanted to do, but never was going to do because I was busy with other things. And then when lockdown happened, I'm anxious and didn't know what was happening with the world and my one kid at the time and my business and everything. And one day I put Wes, my oldest, down for a nap and I had all my tools at home. I had brought everything to my house and I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna pop open my computer and record something and let me just show people how to make a basic ring. And it was, done really sloppy and I cringe when I watch it back now.
It wasn't. It was amazing.
Well, now if you watch it, it's a lot of talk about unprecedented times and, all the buzzwords about the pandemic, but it's okay. And I just kind of wanted to share a little creativity with people. So I put it online and it was $10. And so essentially, it's all my classes now, they're pre-taped. You buy them, you get an email and it's a digital download and you watch the class. So that's how it started. And I mean, people just went bananas over it and it was really fun to connect with people and from all over the world, and I'd be emailing and DMing people about it. And so I'd say in the height of the pandemic I was doing one a week and I learned a lot, and I don't tape them on my computer anymore, and it's been really fun and it's been a really interesting pivot for the education aspect of myself as an artist, and it's really been wonderful.
That's awesome. You strike me definitely as a designer and a jewelry brand owner who is interested in sharing your secrets. So we talked a little bit before this interview and you said, it kind of bugged you how secretive certain facets of the industry are. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, as I was kind of coming up as a designer and trying to learn things and so much trial and error. It's the one thing that it was such a roadblock always was just how secretive people were. Secretive with, sharing techniques or contacts or even silly things sometimes. And, I have always been a believer in, rising tides lift all ships. And just sharing things with people. And it's the more we share, the more space we make for people. So that's really what inspires me as an educator and inspired me to write my book. And I've met so many wonderful people over the years through it.
Fantastic. You're speaking of fantastic. You're a fantastic bench jeweler. You're so hands-on.
Oh,
You can see
thank
behind
you.
you. Yeah. And I know in your book you had written like it takes a long time to learn to make jewelry that doesn't break, that is really there like for
Yeah.
a lifetime. I remember that line sort of sticking out to me like, oh yeah, that must be. Do you, speaking of unprecedented times, do you have does craft and handiwork and sort of the hand skills required on the bench, what does that do for you personally? Is it calming? Does it center you? How does it basically, I guess I'm wondering, how does it benefit your life being a hands-on bench jeweler?
That's such a great question. It is very calming. I definitely feel at peace when I'm at my bench, and I'm constantly inspired by the awesome women who work for me who are super talented, and I feel like I learn from them too. And as to be able to keep my skills sharp, I think is a big one. And that's another reason, going back to teaching, why I love teaching, because it really keeps my skills sharp. You might not be using every aspect of your craft, but it's kind of like exercising it. But I do love being at the bench and figuring new things out. And I think it just makes me a better designer, pushing the limits of things.
Okay. Great. Last question for you.
Oh, sure.
How are you doing all this with two tiny little kids? Like, I don't want to get all Cosmo on you, but how is she getting it done? How are you doing it these days?
I mean, I have both my kids are in daycare. I'm not gonna like pretend like I can do it all, because I
Right.
think that's a thing that kind of gets under my skin sometimes, when I never want to make someone feel less than. But the truth is that I'm very fortunate that I have both my kids are in daycare full time, and it frees my days to focus on my business, focus on my crafts, be in person here with my employees, and to be honest, like, make me feel like me. And I feel like a better mom that I leave my house and I come to my studio, and I have this huge part of my life, which is my studio and the work that I make and the people who I make it with and the people who I make it for. And then I go home at the end of the day and I have real quality time with my kids. I know everybody is different. There are like a million different types of moms out there. And this is what works for me.
That's so great. You have that carved out time to be creative and be a business person as well.
Yeah. It's, that's, I think, however you do it, it's as long as it works for you, like, that is awesome.
That's awesome. Emilie, thank you so much for chatting with me. It was great.
Yeah, this was
Great
so fun.
Emilie, thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Emilie.
Great day and a great spring.
Yes.
Bye.
You too. Bye.